There.
Better.
Oh, yeah.
Then. You want to be able to get back.
The stop.
This option? Oh, I just couldn't find it. Gotta. I wonder.
Let's see.
It did. That's what I'm wondering.
No, that's the one behind her. That's her.
So, but I think. Look at this. Get paid. So I knew this was gonna happen. Like, nope. So. I already have another one open. Nope, can't. Okay. So where did you get that, Doc?
I downloaded it.
Where at? Is it this one? Yep. Sign what to do.
How's my coloring? Am I gray or anything?
You have to leave it open.
We can't see you right now.
Aw.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it.
We're trying to fix the.
I think she has it
Oh.
as a slideshow. That because as soon as it's a slideshow, you can't. Was oh now I know what she's saying. What command did she give you?
Oh,
That's it. Thank you. That I know what she's doing now. I had to hear the command. She is starting the slideshow. This is what she's doing. Now you do Alt Tab. That's the answer. Now do Alt Tab. That's it. So what she's doing is leaving that run, and now you have we've been posting a lot of these. So. You don't see my mouse. I'm listening to what she's saying.
down there.
Oh. Oh, it is there. Well, that is weird.
Why is that one still plugged in?
I know we got two, so I don't know which one you want to use, but let's leave this one. This I like this one better. Anyway.
Well, that's the one that.
So I was trying to close everything. There we go. No, I didn't. I was closing everything I can. Oh wait, it's like no, it's not. Okay. So I'm trying to get everything ready. That's what she's doing. Alt Tab stands for switching windows. So that's what we're doing.
Is that your? That's your
Something,
clipboard. Your
yeah.
clipboard.
You can see
So
it.
now we're ready.
You can see the clipboard.
Yeah. There you go.
See, and then she was telling you Alt Tab to switch back. See, I
So
think
can
that's what
Alt
she.
Tab
Yes. And then it's
Alt
ready,
Tab
and then you can share. You're down here, and then you share which one was this one. So
Okay.
you don't share this one, you share this one. Okay. So I'm finally getting after hearing the command. I was like, oh, she's telling you to Alt Tab, which means switch windows.
Stop share. So if we go into intermission, I'm just gonna do share screen.
The
And
first
then
one,
click
not this
here.
one.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, not
And
that
then
one.
share.
That one's gonna show the notes.
Stop share. Okay.
Yes. now
Lisa,
you're
you look
getting it.
good.
Okay, good.
And
And I
yes,
got water for Matt's cowlick in the back if I need to.
Uh-oh.
Put that down.
I do. You know what it's from? And I have it almost every day.
Your car.
No. Mask. I wear a
Sleep apnea mask.
yes.
Yeah.
that's what it's from.
I'm like, you're still wearing a mask over here?
I was trying to think what I have, the sleep apnea.
Ah.
Yes.
Everybody has a sleep
No,
apnea
mine's
machine.
really bad.
Mhm.
Seriously. I had a test and they said, how are you not dead yet?
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
sleeping. It's really bad. I stopped breathing. How many times a minute? You tell me 30? 30 times in 1 minute.
God.
So it's almost like half the time I'm not breathing. It's like nasty. So yes, that is work. And I knew I had it. I'm like, oh, nothing I can do. I mean, just do this.
Oh, yeah, kids.
Yes. Just-
Okay.
I wore white like she told me,
Yeah,
so
looks good.
Okay.
It does make a difference.
I think this keeps me from going gray when I move,
Yep, it does not,
so.
I don't see the green above your head.
Okay.
Like we did in the practice session. Now we just have about a half hour.
No, I
Just
just,
for the women.
no, I can't move because I found my spot, so.
Uh-oh.
Did Audrey ever comment back or?
That's. Yes,
She meant to do that or?
what,
Oh.
the
Lisa.
panelists, I just asked her, is Lisa supposed to be? a panelist?
And she said yes.
You just forgot her. You just
Okay.
forgotten.
Well, we always want to know if there could have been some kind of reason.
That's why I had Mike here. He's taken over. Mike's gonna be the influential women webinar poster.
Like, Martorello,
Mm-hmm.
is he?
I don't know. He was here yesterday, so I'm like, oh, and they're making him do the webinars now.
They're not.
Well, why doesn't it say, oh, it does say KPC. I'm like, you guys put Fort Wayne. Doesn't that freak out people? But
Yeah, that is a little weird that she did it like
still
that,
KPC.
because yeah, I don't know that. I didn't even notice that, but. Yeah, that
Well, I even have to mention the Journal Gazette in my script, and I'm gonna cough during that to Journal Gazette.
I know that is-
So,
Yeah, and there's some mix from my understanding yesterday. The journal's not real keen on being associated with specials advertising section.
yeah, they won't, yeah, they will not take
So
part.
if you wanna say Fort Wayne newspapers instead of the journal, I don't know where she has the journal in it.
I assume Lori told her to put it in or something, so I don't know.
I don't know that Lori's even seen it.
you know,
Cause she didn't
don't
say,
have to, they
she
don't
said it
hire
was gonna be in KPC newspapers, and technically Business Weekly is branded as Fort Wayne newspaper, so I was gonna say it's gonna be in KPC media newspapers and the Business Weekly.
Well, it's also in the journal.
Well, and that's where she had it,
Yeah.
so that's why I was gonna put it, I was gonna have to say it there, so.
I don't know if it will.
Well, I don't know, cause I thought they seemed, I mean, at least. Who's, who was the publisher of who's the best friend of Irene Walters? Julie.
Julian.
Julie, I mean, I heard that the journal was, I mean, they were interested in new products. I mean, the benefits of the new products coming in, so.
I know from talking to them yesterday, they want to make sure that BBC doesn't lose their,
the name. Yeah, we all know that here. We're told.
that they want to, that you're really, you know, you've got your democratic with the journal, and then they really want to keep us branded and
Yes.
Republican up.
The journal is outside. But Sherry talks about that, so you know. They try to do both, but
It's hard, it would be hard, I'm
It is.
obviously not a writer, but it would be hard to write something without
bias, right? right? Is that
Yeah,
how you would say it?
yeah,
Yeah.
without even
Because it's your opinion.
the tone of one.
Who you interview and
Yeah.
everything. The quotes that you use and everything.
So you guys will probably know this answer because I've been dying to know what happened to, what was his name? Brian
McElvey?
Yes, how do you say his last name? And you know what
McElvey
I'm
or
talking
something like
about
that?
Because he's already going to Utah and he
Yeah.
was apparently let go or didn't.
Well, they
his
waited for his
contract-
contract to run
Yeah,
out,
expired, but
so.
there's a reason.
Jim
why.
Banks said that was like a
That's-
year ago, so if it had nothing to do with me, he said.
Guess what? Then I went back and
So-
watched Jim Banks and it was a brutal meeting with,
Mhm.
with him. So of course I went back and watched that and I'm like, are these related or not?
Yeah,
But then it was like another 8 months later.
yeah, and that's what Jim Banks was saying, if I had gotten him fired, it would have been immediately. It's not like,
Well, that's what
it's
I
like a year later, but whether or not they had to wait for his contract, but I
Yeah.
assume TV people do that because they need something to show to the big leagues, because there was another reporter who was going after that new publication that kind of basically is the mouthpiece of the city government that promotes in Fort Wayne, not in Fort Wayne, but whatever it's called. And it input Fort Wayne.
So Amber Tinsley is saying she didn't get the link, or did
Oh,
she miss
oh.
the?
But anyways, yeah, they're gone. They're and the reason I'm tied to it is Decatur, what's her name?
Mhm.
Forgot her name. Kristen Miller. Yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
right. She's tied to Decatur. I know her. But then they're moving now to Utah, so that's the latest news.
I was trying to remember, there was somebody
They're going to Salt Lake now.
who said, I'm happy to have joined Channel 4 at
It's
something. Was that him?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's right.
that's
That's
what I
why it just came up in the news.
I remember seeing that, so.
Yep, he's going to Salt Lake now to be. Yep, but then I didn't hear what she's doing, but I know she's moving with them.
Is that his wife or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're married. They were a good couple on 21. I was
Uh-huh.
watching, but now I stopped watching.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's
Trying
no
to
one
think
there.
if she's the one with long straight hair.
Kind of a brunette. Yeah,
There was somebody who was at the news conferences and I thought they said, now look at, I thought they said her name was Krista, but
Kristen Miller. Yeah, she's from Decatur.
is that where you're from?
That's why I had ties to her. I know her group of friends, and we all know her. And she,
Mhm.
yeah, and then she actually at one point worked for WoWo, I think WoWo, and then I think went to 21.
Must be where I've heard her voice typically and heard her name was from WoWo, so.
Yeah, she was on WoWo. Got stepped up and did broadcast.
Yeah.
It's always so cool.
Go in Laura's office.
Oh,
Mm.
well, the other day I was
Opposite.
burning up, yeah.
I
Last week,
sweat
I'm
there
like,
because I had meetings with her and
I need to
Yeah.
get out of there. I'm burning up, I don't know how you're sitting.
I thought the same thing
She's
too.
like, well, I must have it up in there.
Every time I have a meeting, I'm like sweating, like have my arms open,
I
like.
felt like it was just.
She
Yeah.
wants to make you sweat.
Yeah.
It's psychological. She wants to make you sweat.
No, that's what I thought too. Yeah, it's like, yeah, these meetings are intense now.
Oh. Well,
Do we need anything else? I feel like it's like, is this it? We
Is
got
it-
another mouse if it locks up.
Is it always gonna say practice session or as soon as we go live, it changes from that?
it'll change to that.
Okay,
Yeah.
It says right now you were in a practice session.
I
Okay.
know, and then it says
And then-
start, so she's gonna click.
okay. Do I have
There
to,
was more from you, I know.
Do that.
I know, wasn't, no, these are important steps, that's why I'm like, you're supposed to remember, she said mute, did you take notes, or there's like, isn't
Little
there?
bit.
I was just gonna say, I'm on mute. Should I? Unmute.
There we go, yes, those
So
are,
you've been able to hear me through there,
No,
uh,
I don't hear her through there, do you?
cause You should.
I think we need to work on that.
Hello? Hello?
Oh.
Hello, hello, hello,
here.
hello. Hi.
The speaker's off. There it is. That's why though.
Hello.
So good thing we're checking that now, Dad.
Hello.
Yeah,
There you go.
Okay, all right. All right, I'm gonna mute
but
now.
now you need to mute.
I'm mute.
Yeah, I just,
Are you still connecting, Amber? Hello? It said the host wanted me to unmute, so I unmuted,
Well, you were trying to talk to Amber.
but I don't think Amber can hear us.
I see there's no mic, so. Need to come up with
Hi,
a
Jennifer.
box truck.
Hi, Jennifer.
Or you could probably just minimize this. It's probably behind her.
Amber, so.
Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Hi there. We're just kind of testing your sound and can you hear us okay?
I can hear you, yes.
Lisa, you
I
you
can
got
hear
it.
her.
Yep, okay. Everything sounds good.
All right, perfect. I wanted to get it done before Ryan, my IT guy, left.
We can turn yourself.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, I muted.
Can you ladies hear me now? Okay.
And
Morning.
Sharon. Just wanna,
Morning.
hello, okay, I can hear you, so I just want to test there. And is it Malak Heine? No, she's still there. Maybe she walked away. Oh, she might not be there. Okay, just want to test and make sure we could hear everybody.
And Lisa, you can hear me and see me fine?
Yes, I can hear you and see you, so I think we're waiting on, is it Tasha and Catherine? Yes. Oh, and Deborah. Hoping that she comes on. Okay.
I can't hear you. Can you hear us? Lisa?
I can hear Sharon.
Okay, we couldn't hear you and you're just talking.
Oh, yeah, I muted myself. I was talking to
Oh.
them over there, so.
Something changed. Okay, super.
Okay. All right. And we have Tasha now. Just gonna test your audio there. Oh, not hearing anything yet.
How about now?
Okay, now I can. And is it Tasha or Tasha?
Tasha.
Tasha. Okay. Sure. All right, and Jennifer, we have you on the second session. So I think for this first session, we're still waiting on Deborah, Lori, and Catherine. Oh, Jennifer, were you talking? Because you were muted. You're muted. Are you muted?
Okay, do you want me to get on at 12 o'clock? Or do you want me to stay on right now?
It's up to you. If you want to stay involved, but we'll be speaking to you at the second session.
Right.
So
So
yeah.
I'll just watch, so I'll log off, I'll watch, and then I'll come back on at 12. Or
Okay.
like 11:55, whenever you tell me to.
Yeah, what time was it specifically? We wanted everybody
I think
on.
it's at 12. So brief intermission is 11:55 to 12.
Yeah, okay,
So get on at like 12.
yeah.
Will
Get on at
do.
12, yeah.
Okay,
We'll have a
sounds good.
PowerPoint in between, so,
Okay, all
okay,
right, I can do that. Thank
okay, all right. And Catherine, let's just test your mic.
Is it on?
Yep, we can hear you. Great. Okay.
Good.
So we got Catherine,
Flowers in the background.
nice.
Where's
Your
my
special occasion, or you just got those as your background there?
Just got them for a fun background.
Excellent.
Boring. It's a very boring background. How did I have it before? Oh, I had it this way. didn't I?
There, got some color there, yeah.
Can you guys tell I used to work at Vera Bradley?
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah,
about the
I'm
presentation.
self-conscious. I'm a little self-conscious how boring my background is.
I know. Like, where's your color? Come on, guys.
Yeah. 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 Get the family dog in and yeah,
There you go. There you go.
great.
Now, but now I'm
Okay.
like scooted over to get. Now it looks like okay. My
We
chair.
got Deborah coming on now. Okay.
You're not supposed to do a ponytail on virtual screens because it looks
Oh,
like
why?
looks like you have no hair. But
Oh. Yeah, I just have to do a side view a few
I know
times.
I could get the pony over here a little bit. Oh well. Oh, Sharon's got flowers too.
Yeah.
I got mine for my birthday the other day, so.
Nice.
All right. And Deborah, we'll just test your mic.
Okay,
Oh,
testing.
yep, I can hear you.
Okay,
All right, good. All right, we're just waiting for Lori.
excellent.
Darn it.
Do we have 5 minutes? Okay, 7 minutes. Okay. And everybody got the questions, so you're,
I
Uh-oh,
didn't see
Deborah's
questions.
looking.
I didn't see them. When
Okay.
did it come?
I know we had mailed them to your assistant.
Oh, her mother-in-law passed away and she's been,
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can.
sorry.
That's okay. Jenny's gonna see if she can send those to you.
Okay, thank you.
Where?
And I think we had you first up for answering, so I can see if I can put you at the last one.
Okay, well, thank you. Give me a little time to study up.
Yeah,
I'm good at cramming, so.
yeah.
Isn't
You're in
that
the
how we all
medical
get to
field,
be
so you can
influential
respond.
women, right? We can get a lot done in 30
Yeah.
seconds.
Exactly, exactly. Oh my goodness. Think it's a prereq to these positions, right?
Right.
So good to see everyone.
So the questions are on the last page of the run of the show.
Okay, Jenny is sending you an email and
All
it's
right.
gonna be the run of show and at the very end are the questions.
Perfect.
It's wonderful,
Like, wow.
yes.
It's basically, talking about how you were successful, some triumphs, some of the trials you faced, and then also what advice you would give to young women going into your career field.
Oh, right. I love it. All those are good.
It's,
And at the end, then, when we're done going through the questions with everyone, and I'll explain this in the beginning, we'll ask the questions that people may have sent in, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Malik.
Hello, okay, I can hear you. And is it Malak? How do you pronounce your name?
Malik.
Malik,
Yes.
okay, all right.
It's coming from Audrey.
Okay, and Deborah, that email is coming from Audrey Hebel.
Okay,
Will be the
great.
name that was coming on.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we have about 2 minutes and I don't see Lori yet.
I love the flowers that you have, Catherine and Sharon. Those are so bright and
You
beautiful.
should have sent out a memo. Make sure to have flowers.
I know. Next year, take a note, right?
My daughter, I didn't know. Yeah, my daughter sent them to me for my birthday, so they were just sitting there, so I didn't even think about it.
Very nice.
Love it.
Yeah, Deb, we missed the message apparently.
Yeah.
We must have. We must have.
Mine are actually from my garden. I am so thrilled that it's
Wow.
almost November and
That's
my garden
impressive.
is still doing this. So I just keep bringing them into the office to bring a lot of cheer. It's fun.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That is awesome.
All right, all right. I think we're gonna go. We don't have Lori, but she's gonna give me a countdown and then I am going to start and I gotta get my papers here. Okay, all right. Welcome to Influential Women of Northeast Indiana live chat today, sponsored by KPC Media and Fort Wayne Newspapers. My name is Lisa Esquivel-Long. I'm editor of Greater Fort Wayne Business Weekly, and I'll be serving as your moderator. For the next 2 hours, you'll have the opportunity to hear from some interesting and diverse women who have made an impact in their career field as well as in their communities, many of whom have overcome difficult odds to do so. We believe their stories will inspire you and perhaps give you some ideas of how you just might climb the business ladder and start a business or go back to school and get some additional professional education, all while juggling a family, a home, and your life. And we believe you'll also find that you may want to do business with their companies or get involved in supporting their charitable activities. You can read more about the influential women in the special section that we will be having in all KPC newspapers tomorrow and Saturday, including write-ups on the honorees, including the write-ups on the 3 honorees who couldn't be here with us today. And those are Michelle Brown Stoller of Carson LOP, and Amy Lehrman of Katz, Sapper and Miller, and Irene Walters, who's involved in many community activities. We've divided our honorees into 2 groups. In the first hour, you have a chance to hear from Deborah Garrison of IU Fort Wayne, Malak Heine of City of Fort Wayne, Sharon Miller of Bulldog Consulting, Tasha Eicher of Parkview Health, and Catherine Hill of PNC Bank. And we're waiting to see if Lori Gangan of B Noble is going to join us as well. So they'll each tell you a little bit about their careers and how they got started. And then we'll talk about some of the challenges that women face when they work outside the home, sometimes in fields that are predominantly or traditionally more male dominated. And as you watch, feel free to use the Q&A feature to submit your questions you have for the women. And we'll go over those questions at the end of the session. So at the end of the hour, we'll take a quick break and then hear from 4 more honorees in our second hour. And those are going to be Jonna Smith of Little John Auctions, Inc., Zona Miller of First Merchants Bank, Amber Tinsley of A&J Optical, and Jennifer Esterline of Whitley County Chamber. So let's begin. I'd like to introduce Malak Heine. And Malak, could you introduce yourself to us?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Malak Heine. I am currently the city attorney for the city of Fort Wayne under the Henry administration.
Great. All right. And next, let's go to Tasha Eicher.
Hi, I'm Tasha Eicher. I am one of Parkview Health's market presidents. I serve Northeast Indiana and Northwest Ohio.
Okay. All right. And then welcome to Catherine Hill.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, everyone. I am the Client and Community Relations Director here at PNC Bank, Northern Indiana.
Oh, great. Okay. And did I miss Sharon Miller?
Yep. Hi, I'm Sharon Miller. I'm the owner and president of Bulldog Consulting Services. And here we improve other businesses' processes. We help them implement projects and we optimize different things without their business.
All right. And then last but certainly not least, Deborah Garrison. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, hello, Lisa and everyone. It's wonderful to be with you all. I am with Indiana University and specifically right here in Fort Wayne, at IU Fort Wayne. I'm the inaugural Vice Chancellor and Dean and just finished 1.25 years in the role and couldn't be more in love with Fort Wayne and IU.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go to our questions that we have for our panel. And the first question I have is, our core purpose of this event is to inspire women to progress in their career, to hear how other women have become influential in their businesses or their communities, and to expand our audience's network of potential mentors. So please take a moment to do so, to talk about how you were able to become successful, what your greatest triumphs have been, and what your professional journey has been like so far. So let's go ahead and we'll start with Malak.
Okay, I think for me, the most influential aspects of my career, how I've been able to get to where I am, are just really great mentors, people that have inspired me to work hard, people who have, given me confidence when I felt like I didn't have any. and made me feel like I could achieve everything I wanted to. And the list goes on and on for me on the people who were influential in my life. I mean, the very first people in my life were my parents, influencing me to work hard for everything that, you know, I wanted in life. And every time I wanted to quit, them pushing me to continue on. And, you know, the road to success is up and down, and there are roadblocks, and just always persevering and pushing through. That's really been the biggest lesson for me is when I think I couldn't do it, you know, people were in my corner telling me I could. So,
So
and
it's
then
having
in
a
the
support
workplace,
network,
having
very
people like
important.
that. I'm sorry, what?
Having a support network
Yes,
is really,
yes,
Yeah.
really great.
yes. And same in my profession, just having bosses who really believed in me and pushed me to work hard, and gave me autonomy and independence to achieve everything that I've achieved. So I feel very fortunate in my career.
Great, wonderful. Okay, anything else you'd like to mention?
That's it.
Okay, all right, great. I see Lori Gagan has joined us. Lori, could you introduce yourself and go over the question? I can repeat it if you didn't get a chance to hear it, so.
Thank you. My apologies. I think I joined the wrong way, so
Okay.
challenges never end.
Yeah.
I'm Lori Gagan. I'm the operations director for B Noble Inc., which is our Noble County Economic Development Corporation. And what was the rest of the question, Lisa?
The question we're going over is basically, you know, what did it take for you to become successful? What are some of the greatest triumphs you've had so far? And what your professional journey has looked like?
Okay, thank you. I would say the first thing that has helped me be successful, and I can even take this back to high school, is just showing up, is choosing to engage and to be there, to take an interest. If you have an interest in something, to just go after it and learn more about it and really engage in it. So I've been involved in a lot of things throughout my career. Probably the greatest triumph I have had is back during my time as executive director at Black Pine Animal Sanctuary. People who know me from that role probably don't realize that when I started with that organization, my role was not executive director. I was doing fundraising and volunteer management. And within about 2 months of taking on that role, I had about 100 lives that I was supporting there at the animal sanctuary, and they lost their home. So everything went very topsy-turvy. So the whole rest of my career there was starting from scratch and rebuilding the animal sanctuary. So that was obviously, without a roadmap, a very difficult time, but also a huge triumph, something I'm really, really proud of. I would also say that experience taught me a lot of perseverance, and I think perseverance has served me well. Although I didn't necessarily realize it at the time, when I look back now over the decades of time that I've worked, I think that has been a huge part of why I've been successful too. As far as my career journey, I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. So my career journey has been all over the place. I have worked in multiple different sectors of the economy, and I have worked in a lot of different occupations. So I think the biggest lesson from that is just to really follow what interests you. My interests change all the time. I don't know that I have OCD, but maybe I do, or ADD. So my interests have changed over the years, and I have just pursued whatever those interests are and wherever they have taken me, and tried to do the very best I could do in every situation.
Yeah, they always say you have to do what you love. So it sounds like you've made several careers out of that then. So
I have. Thank you. Yeah.
great. Okay. All right. And next we'll go to Sharon Miller.
I would say what's made me successful is a lot of grit and determination. I think as a business owner, a lot of that is, you need to be able to take risks, and I'm good with that. And, just believing in yourself, that's really the most important thing. Again, that positive self-talk, and you can do it. I think an important part also of the success is just building relationships and earning people's trust. Once you've got a customer and they trust you, hey, it's great. You can have long-term relationships with them, get continuous work. So relationships and communication are very, very important. I would say another huge part of my success is my team. I have the most amazing people I work with in my team. And so I think that attributes to a lot of my success. I'm a firm believer too, the harder you work, the luckier you are. So there's definitely some luck along the way with different things as well. I would say my greatest triumphs are, again, my Bulldog team, all the people that I work with, and making sure that we get the right people and that we put them in the right seats on the bus. That's really important. You want to make sure that you're utilizing their skills right and that everyone's happy and content with what they're doing, and then you're going to be successful. I would also say my family. I have an amazing husband. We're going to be married 30 years in December. And, you know, he supported me all along the way. He helps me with my business as well, behind the scenes and doing a lot of things I don't have time to do. And then I've got 2 great children, and they both have worked with the business as well, support you, you know, with a business owner. And you guys all know this, you know, you have a lot of ups and downs, and they pick me up a lot of times. So greatest triumph, definitely them. My professional journey, I started my career in high school when I was an intern at a financial services company, and it got me very interested in business. I loved it. I kind of climbed the ladder. I went from a secretarial position up to a management position. I went to school at night. So I had 2 part-time jobs I did on the weekend to pay for my college and doing that. So when I got my degree, I already had 5 years of work experience. And so it really helped me a lot in getting good positions and starting. And I just really liked the management side, and I really got into project management and process improvements. I worked at Lincoln for a while, and that was awesome. I loved it. And so my whole career kind of catapulted from that. I ended up starting doing some consulting work, and I really enjoyed that. And a couple months later, I started Bulldog Consulting Services, and we focus, you know, on those things that I love. So that's a little bit about my, you know, professional journey.
Great. Yeah, it's always good to get early experience in what you're interested in your career. So great. Okay. All right. Let's go to Tasha Eicher.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, a lot of what the others have said already in regards to finding good mentors. I think that's very, very important. Find people who believe in you, because there's a lot of times through this journey, you do not believe in yourself. I think most of us at some point have probably battled with imposter syndrome. And so those mentors help you realize, no, you belong here, and just keep working hard. I think you need to take opportunities. So there's been, you know, I think Sharon, you mentioned, you know, show up, or maybe that was you, Lori. I mean, you got to keep showing up. You got to take those opportunities when they are presented to you. You have to take chances. And I think it's important to take different opportunities, because in each opportunity, we learn different things. So for me personally, I've worked in for-profit, not-for-profit, much large health systems to small community hospitals. And in every one of those organizations that I worked in, I've learned something and learned great things and been able to be mentored by great people. I think it's important to speak up and learn and be vulnerable in order to triumph through this journey. And you know, with that, I think one of my biggest triumphs, or what I feel like, if I look back and reflect on, you know, where I've been and where I am today, I think being a full-time female in a career, being a wife and a mom. I worked full-time right after college, and I had, you know, full-time home life. And I went to school for several years. So I got a second associate's degree, I got a bachelor's degree, and I got my MBA, all while being a mom and a wife. And, you know, that's a big undertaking, and you don't realize it while you're doing it, because you just keep showing up, getting every class done, making sure you're staying on top of things at home and in the workforce. But that is something that I would say I'm most proud of in my journey thus far. And, you know, my professional journey was a little maybe unorthodox. I thought I was going to be a nurse, and I realized along that path that I don't really like to touch people. So that's kind of impossible if you're going to be a nurse, but I love people. I love building relationships and building strong teams. And so I was fortunate enough through my journey to be able to stay within healthcare, but, you know, add value in a different way. So that's essentially how, you know, what my journeys look like.
Great. Yeah, it sounds as long as you're learning, you know, then you have more satisfaction, and it's good that you switched when you knew that wasn't where you should be. So great. Okay, next let's hear from Catherine Hill.
Hi, everyone. Tasha, I could probably just cut paste your answer. Actually, you know, at the risk of being a little bit repetitive, some of the things that Tasha said are right along my same themes, and that is opening the doors that are in front of you. I think when I think about my career journey and the success that I've garnered to this point, and it's funny, Lisa, your question is like, how did you become successful? I never think I'm successful. I'm not done. Like I'm always a work in progress and keep kind of striving for that success. So, but I'd say that opening every door along the way, I think has contributed to where I am today. So I actually graduated with a English literature major. And so just a love of learning and learned how to be a good communicator. And so that was kind of the foundation for me. I did go back to school to get a Master of Public Affairs. And that was after I'd been in the work world for a while and really sort of honed in on where my skill sets and my interests were. So but my very first job out of college, I ended up taking a job with the Department of Metropolitan Development in Evansville, Indiana. Is that the kind of thing that anyone would have like written down on like big goals or like my whole career has been not things that I targeted and planned for, but things that like looked like the right thing at the right time for me to go learn. And exactly like Tasha said, every single time that door opened, I learned so much, and then that built upon who I am today and what I have to offer professionally. So fast forward through a funky, you know, I worked at Fidelity Investments for a while during college, and then Department of Metropolitan Development, and then on to Vera Bradley, where I ran the Vera Bradley Foundation for Breast Cancer. And then when this role, I'm now at PNC in the community relations role, came open, oh, yes, I know about grants. As a matter of fact, I know about economic development and affordable housing because I did that in Evansville department. I know about giving back to the community because I ran a foundation. And oh, by the way, I know a little bit about banking because I was at Fidelity. So all of these things that you don't even know how they're going to end up tying together. If you're curious and you learn a lot throughout your career path, I think oftentimes that's how you can really land in great places. So how we script our success and how we land there, for me, it's all about speaking up, learning as much as I can, and being curious. The other thing I just want to add when I think about your question of kind of your career journey and what has contributed to your success, Lisa, for me, one of my themes is ask questions. I'm always, if there's a big room full of people and there's kind of silence, like I'm the first one to shoot up my hand and ask a question. And the reason I can do that and I have the courage to do that is because I've done the homework enough to know, you know, I'm not afraid of the dumb questions. I don't think any of us should be, but also I have the confidence that there's probably someone else in the room who has this same question in their head. So because I know enough to know that maybe there needs to be more clarity, I'm always the one speaking up. And then after the fact, people always say, Catherine, thank you so much for asking that. I had the same question. Oh, that helped so much. So speak up, please, and don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't fear that, you know, looking like you're the clueless one. It has served me well. My curiosity and ability to be a little bit vulnerable has definitely served me in my success.
Okay, so lifelong learning and speaking up. So those are good things to talk about. All right. Okay, and speaking of learning, let's go to Deborah Garrison.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. So I will begin with when I was in high school, I was part of a community theater, and I went to the home of the director, and engraved in her fireplace, it was really right from Shakespeare, "To thine own self be true. It follows as it follows the day, the night, thou canst not be false to anyone." And of course there was man in there. So I had to get rid of that man and say anyone. So be true to yourself is something that has driven me from a very early age, and thinking about, and I don't know in high school, was I thinking about values and integrity and honesty and treating people with dignity and respect, but over time, those are pieces that just as long as I'm doing those things, I'm being true to myself, and it kind of is my North Star, I think. So much wisdom already has been shared by all my colleagues here on this call today, but love the notion of mentors. Pay attention to mentors. And when somebody offers to mentor you, that's a gift, and take them up on that. Never be shy about it. I have a person that I reported to back in 2007, and we still talk every month. She's gone on to be a president of her alma mater, Meredith College. I have just really relished the opportunity to share joys and challenges along the way. And pay attention to those assignments sometimes that you think, oh my goodness. I remember as a brand new faculty member, I was tapped to rewrite the faculty bylaws for the faculty of the College of Nursing and my alma mater, where I was then working, for 3 campuses, Denton, Dallas, and Houston. The year before, there had been an initiative and a very prestigious professor who led it, and it failed miserably. And the dean came to me and said, I want you to take this on for this year. And I'm thinking, me? I'm an assistant clinical professor, not on tenure track. How can this be right for me? But I said yes. So I always love that. Start with yes. So then I decided, well, I'm just going to have a lot of phone calls with, back then there was no Zoom, none of that. So I'm in Denton. And so lots of calls and just asking people, what's important to be in these? How should we craft our committees? The goal was we had 22 committees. We should have 7 because faculty were overworked, overburdened. So ultimately got time to be the final faculty meeting of that next year. And the dean said, okay, are you ready to go? Shoot for perfect. Even if it's perfect right now, next year something will change and it will no longer be perfect. He said, let's go. So I presented them. There was one area that was called out. Somebody from the audience. So this is another part that I just learned out of experience. Accept help always. So one of my colleagues said, if we could take a break, I think we have an idea about how to smooth this piece over. Came back, those bylaws were voted in by over 100 faculty from 3 different campuses unanimously. Never thought that could happen. Out of that came a nomination for my first academic leadership role as chair of a department in another university in Texas. My career, and then so another pearl is say yes when people invite you to think about opportunities, even though you think maybe not. Maybe this isn't for me, but maybe it is. And that's carried me through positions in Indiana now, but between Texas and Indiana came Ohio at the University of Toledo, Widener University in Pennsylvania, Merck Methodist College in New York, on DeVille University. And then finally I was nominated in this position. I didn't know anything about Fort Wayne, but IU, because the Honor Society for Nursing was created at Indiana University by 6 nursing students. And so I had known about that since I'd been inducted early on. So I thought, oh, and I trusted the colleague who nominated. He said, you will love you. This is just going to be great. And I came, interviewed, and truly fell in love with the work that is to be done here, and amazing Hoosier hospitality. And the notion here in Fort Wayne, the mantra I see and hear most often is being a force for good. And I hear this in all of your stories, just being a force for good. So I love it here. And as far as my career path, I think the work that can be done here at IU Fort Wayne and in Fort Wayne, Indiana, will keep me busy for as long as I want to be busy. I absolutely love it. As I was in a leadership program, Presidential Vocation Institutional Mission, that's put on through a grant by the Lilly Foundation through the Council of Independent Colleges. There is a quote that has come to mean a great deal to me, and it comes from Frederick Buechner, if anyone wants to look this up and know more, that talks about where the world's greatest need meets your greatest passion is where you're called to be.
That's really interesting. Okay, all right, great, thank you, Deborah. Okay, our second question is, most women in business or who are in leadership roles have run into roadblocks, whether that be struggling with a work-life balance, feeling like people didn't believe in you, or finding that you didn't believe in yourself, and I've heard a lot of that today. So, or it could be something completely different. So, would you share with us some of the trials you have faced and how you've gotten past them? So, let's start with Lori.
Sure. So when I thought about this question, I think that the biggest roadblock I probably have faced is the fact that, as I mentioned before, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I graduated as a salutatorian from my high school class. I had scholarships. I had a lot of opportunities ahead of me. And I just didn't take a traditional path. I feel like I have succeeded at everything I've gone after, and every job that I've wanted, I've done well in. But that also has come with a challenge of every time I've changed an occupation, every time I've changed employers, and I've skipped from one industry sector to another, I had to start over in a lot of ways. So I didn't carry with me like respect within that industry or respect within that particular professional career path. So that's been more challenging now, again, that I think back over it than I realized at the time. And I think that's largely because some people have mentioned, like, when there's a door open, go through it. And I mentioned showing up. That perseverance has shown up with me, and I've just been happy to rebuild relationships or build new relationships, and I guess prove my worth or prove my ability by performing. But for someone who chooses a career path early on and decides that that's where they're going to go, it's probably not as difficult as maybe what it has been for me. And I think it has held me back in a lot of ways in retrospect. I haven't been able to also build on the salary as you proceed through a single occupation and career. So those have all been challenges. But the winning side of all of that is, like I said, I have done things I wanted to do. I haven't really had to take a job and do something I just didn't want to do to get to the next step. If that was in front of me, I said,
Oh, we just lost you, Lori. Oh, you wanna,
there you go. Sorry about
there you
that.
go. Okay.
That was weird. It just popped up and told me I wasn't there. From a career path, I think that's probably been the biggest challenge. The other thing I'll say is on work-life balance. I know a lot of women in particular struggle with that. I don't have children. So in a lot of my situations, I have been the team person on the team who's been able to kind of allow other people to address their family needs and me fill that gap. And as frustrating as it may have been from time to time, just because I feel like it has limited my abilities sometimes, I've also been really happy to do that. I champion other women, and if I can help them create that life balance, then I'm happy to do that. So hopefully that answers your question.
Women supporting women is very important, so, okay. Okay, Malakaini, let's talk to you next.
I think for me, the biggest challenge in my career is really just creating a good work-life balance. Wanting to join every board, wanting to, lead committees and do all sorts of things, but then remembering at the end of the day, my husband also is an attorney and he has stressful jobs. So balancing his career, the kids, and my own career, that's been a challenge for me. But again, with the support of my family and his family, we couldn't make it work. So really just for Village Trees children, to make a family around us. That's how we moved back to the area. We were living in Indianapolis, and we had our second son decided to back and we couldn't do it without them. And I want to do so many different things in the community. I know that right now my main job is to be a mom, and so it's to nurture my kids and help them grow to be productive members of the community, of society. And I mean, it's equally important as the job that I have now. So when I go home, I'm focused on my kids. But at the same time, I want to be able to do all these different things for the community. So once my kids get older, I think that's when I will, try to get back out there and do all the things that I want to do.
Being a mother and having a career are not totally separate things, so you can help them do things that way. Okay, and let's share another.
So I say the environment and is very similar. We live a full-time management. We have a business having people and multiple customers. But really have like an expense tracking also. So just it's hard. Yeah, so that's really what the key priorities for the day. And that's the kids. I'm just going to speak my here. So you just have to really focus on priorities. Okay, for all, and that's all I want to do. Take advantage of people asking what it's hard to do well, and use some just natural and together to the meeting. So start out today.
Exactly, so great. Okay, and next let's hear from Captain Hill. Oh, did you? I think we lost her. Okay, all right, let's go to Deborah. And we'll unmute you. I think we muted everyone, so.
There, I think I'm on. One of the biggest challenges I think that I encountered happened when I was selected for a deanship at Widener University in Pennsylvania. We were living in Toledo, and at the time I had a daughter who was about 12. My husband, we're going on, 43 years of being together, and just he's my rock and foundation. But so a daughter in middle school, and we thought we had navigated a couple of moves in higher education. You don't ever seem to move up in your organization. You tend to move into different organizations for that next leadership role. Lots of national searches, those kinds of things. So I thought, well, this will be fine. We'll sell our home in Toledo and we'll move to Pennsylvania. It will be great. Well, this was 2007. Some of you may remember that was a very bad time economically, and we could not sell home at all. And so we tried different things. Ultimately, ended up, it seemed the best answer was for my husband and daughter to live in our home in Toledo because she had a lot of friends. She was connected with ballet, which was her passion. And I was in Pennsylvania. It is 532 miles from Widener's door to my door in Toledo. I drove it every weekend, left around 4 on a Friday night, went back on Sunday afternoon. Wasn't sure. We kind of tried it with the phone calls. And it was just clear that I needed to be present with my daughter some of the time, and with my husband, of course. But it was my daughter. It was those questions about this guy's asked me out, and all the other questions being women yourselves and mothers, many of you. So I just realized I needed to do that, and so that is exactly what I did. And so I think I can count on the fingers of the 2 hands. In the 6 years I was there, the number of weekends I was not home with my daughter, and I was very fortunate that I had an amazing leadership team at Widener University, and they said, no, we want you to stay here. If however we need to flex, we will make that work. This was before all the Zoom and all the working remotely happened, of course. And so I just think that was I'm so glad I didn't leave the role, because I was able to do so many things in those 6 years. I was able to fundraise and plan architecturally and design wise, and then to move into a Loveland U School of Nursing. So it was exactly the right thing for my career, and it's been pivotal for other positions I've held since. But it certainly is there another part to this question that I've lost, Lisa?
I'm sorry, what did you say, Deborah?
Is there another part to this question that I've lost?
A piece of wisdom that you wish you had when you, oh, sorry, nope. That's basically just sharing the trials that you faced and how you got past them, so.
And I will say that one of the best things that ever happened to me in terms of just having the confidence, and you mentioned this, Tasha, the imposter syndrome. Somebody copy of a book by that name early in my career. It was one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Great. All right, and I think we've lost Captain on the audio, so I'm going to go to our last question, and hopefully she can join back in. So, what advice do you have for the young women watching today who might be interested in pursuing a career in your field? Is there a piece of wisdom you wish you had when you first started on your path? So let's start with Lori Gagan.
Well, given all the diversity in my career path over the years, it's a little hard to answer that, so I'm probably going to speak in more generalities. I think I didn't know this about myself, but I am somebody who really enjoys learning. I think I'm kind of a researcher's heart. I like to figure things out. So I would say that, try to hone your skills in being a sleuth and figuring things out and troubleshooting and problem solving and all of those things, so that when you do come up against a barrier, you kind of have a pathway to figure it out. I think the comments earlier about going through the doors that open and not being afraid to show up and ask questions, those were great. I think Catherine actually did a much better job of saying what I should have said about myself. I definitely share all of those comments that she made and suggestions. Beyond that, economic development is where I'm working now, and it seems like it's a really appropriate place to be because it's a combination of having all of those different occupations and different sectors as part of my career experience. And I would just say if women are interested in economic development, community development, if they have a passion for their own community, don't be afraid to get into economic development. Women are really growing in this field. I work with a powerhouse team of women here in Noble County. There are 4 of us. Our executive director, Melanie Kellogg, is a woman. Tara Streb, our community relations specialist and administrative coordinator. And also we work in collaboration with Grace Casbo with Visit Noble County. And we're really proud to be a team of women. And I don't think it's becoming unusual to see them around the table in this sector. So I highly recommend it if you're passionate about where you live and work and play. What more could you ask for?
Great. Okay, thank you. Okay, and next let's go to Malakaini.
Could you repeat the question?
What advice do you have for the young women watching today who might be interested in pursuing a career in your field? Is there a piece of wisdom you wish you had when you first started out on your path?
I guess for me, when I look back on law school, my piece of advice would be just buckle up. It's gonna be a ride, and you are gonna have moments of what did I get myself into? Can I do this? Will I even be successful at this? So my advice would be, it's going to be challenging, but it's going to be worth it in the end. So just get ready to work hard, you're gonna learn so many awesome things. It's going to be a great experience, and enjoy it because this will be a great time in your life. And I look back and I think, man, law school is hard, but the day-to-day stuff, it's like it's even harder, but it's so rewarding. I mean, just being in public service, for me, public service is so rewarding. Being involved in things that are going on in my community, just like economic development, being involved in things that are happening around the city of Fort Wayne. And I look at trails and I think I had a little part of that. I worked on the land acquisition and the new parks. So it'll be worth it in the end. So just you got to get through those 3 years, and at the end of it, it'll be a great career. So that's my advice.
Great, thank you. And next let's go to Sharon Miller. Do you need to unmute there?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it takes flash and saying unmuted, so it's just different. Sorry about that. So I would just say my advice is just more general. It's not specific to my field. It's just try all kinds of things. Figure out, what is fun to you, what do you enjoy, and when you do something that you love and enjoy, you're going to be successful. If you don't like something, stop it and go find something else. If life's too short, I spent a long time in a position I had and I wasn't really happy. And as soon as I decided to leave and go do something else, everything changed. I was happy again, and then you find something you love and you enjoy, you're going to be successful. So that's real important. The second thing I would say is build relationships. That's so important, and it's so rewarding, when you're got strong relationships with different people that you're working with. And then the last thing I would say is just, be honest and have great work ethics and values, and just feel good about contributing and doing a great job. And I guess the last piece of wisdom, I guess I would say, is I always tell my kids this, is you never get anything in life unless you ask for it. And sometimes it's hard as a woman and as a business owner to go ask for things. That's hard. But if I want a new customer, I got to go ask them if they're going to, do you need project management work and do you want to work with us? And then you got to be able to put yourself out there and ask, because you don't get anything in life unless you ask.
Yep, that's one thing I learned in the workplace is being told, like, you don't ask, you don't get. So yeah, wonderful. Okay. All right. And next let's go to Tasha Eicher.
Yeah, so I would say, you have to work hard. You have to put in the time. I think if you hear from all of us, nobody started right off these positions. And so it really does take that hard work, that grit, showing up. I think if I could go back to my younger self, remind myself that I don't know everything. I feel like in my younger days, I didn't seek first to understand and learn the why behind things. I jumped to conclusions and maybe passed judgment too prematurely. And so through leadership and through growing, I really take time to listen and understand the why or the history of something instead of automatically being a critic about the something. I would say, most importantly, leadership, we're in the people business. So take time to get to know people, know their name, learn their name, maybe something important about them, something that, what makes them get out of bed every day. I think as leaders, it's our responsibility to continue to, be a positive influence and inspire. And I just think being nice, right? People, it's such an easy thing to do, is just be a nice person, be a good person and help out where you can and give advice. And I feel like if there was more of that, the world would be a better place. Just, yes, work hard, but just be nice. And that's what I try to do.
Great, wonderful. Okay. And Catherine, are you able to?
Let's try one more time. Can you hear me?
All right. And did you get the question here?
I did. I have been with all of you the whole time. Now I don't know why my video isn't working, but
Okay.
no, but I'd love to answer this question because it's about, what would I have done differently in the beginning of my career? What advice would I give to people just starting out in theirs? And I'll tell you, I am so impressed with the young people, women and men, who reach out and say, I've never even met you, but I've heard, that you're, involved in my field, or wherever there's been a connection or an introduction. And they say, I would just love to connect and talk to you about my own career or learn more about yours. I'm weirdly one of those few people who say yes as often as I can to that ask, and it's because I'm so impressed with these people. There's not a lot of them who are willing to do that, to just reach out to a stranger and say, hey, I'm trying to learn more about your industry or whatever it may be. And so I take that meeting when I can, and I'll tell you, if you are a young person starting out in your career and you decide to stretch yourself in that way and just ask for introductions and talk to people in the industry that you're interested in, you have such a leg up on your peers who are starting out in their own careers, because you're already curious and you're already making connections and networking with people. So when you get those meetings with people who already have some experience that you want to just meet and talk to, ask as many questions as you can, and then ask, who else should I meet? And guess what? That person, if they took a meeting with you, they're probably also likely to maybe make some introductions for you as well. And then, also ask, what else should I be asking? And when you ask that question, you just keep, again, back to my theme of opening these doors that are in front of you. Just try to be as curious as you can and learn as much as you can. And that, has always served me well. And I wish I was someone in my 20s who had done more of that early, just kind of like, just networking as much as I could. You learn so much along the way, I think. So that's my advice.
Great, thank you. Okay, and in our final moments, let's ask Deborah Garrison. Oh, we gotta unmute you there.
So I'm going to spring right off of Catherine's answer here and say, start with yes. When people ask you to do something, there are many reasons why you may be thinking no. You might be afraid that you don't know what you need to know to do that. You might think that you might not like it. You might think, well, start with yes, because that gives you all the options. Then you can follow up. Well, can you tell me more about that? If I were to be involved with this, what skill set do I need? I don't know if I have that skill set. Do you have a way to help me get that skill set? Because I would love to grow. So always be curious. I forget which one of my great colleagues said that earlier today, but be curious and express that, and be open and be willing. And I will say to you that probably one of the best things that ever happened to me is that I did go to college. I started off thinking I wanted to be a scientist. Well, but in high school, I didn't know what I would invent. Oh, well, I would have figured that out. But in the meantime, in order to go to college, I needed to work, and I started working in a long-term care facility. And the nurses there, primarily LPNs who had, a year-long education, said, oh my goodness, you would be a great nurse, and you like science, and there's a lot of science in nursing. But by the way, you need to be a baccalaureate prepared nurse. I thought, well, that's interesting. I don't really understand anything about this college thing. And what's the difference between a baccalaureate prepared nurse and what you are? And so I started figuring out, I managed to get myself admitted to college. Now, I was a valedictorian in my little tiny high school class of about 70 people, but I really didn't know, and it was before the internet, so you had to write away for a catalog. So I got myself admitted, and then my grandmother, who had never been to college and was really rather not keen on the whole thing, said she wouldn't take me. Those nurses took me to college. This young woman in her early 20s with her 2 babies and her white Spitz dog and her husband in a very, one of those old station wagons, took me to college. And I found my way, and I loved it and flourished and had no idea what I was getting into. Quickly ended up going back for a master's degree because I wanted to know more. And then I was working in a new hospital. My boss said, oh, I want you to start health promotion programs. And I said, oh gosh, like what? And I didn't really know what that was all about. And he said, oh, smoking cessation and such as that. And I thought, I can tell you all the health consequences of smoking and why you should not do it. But as far as how not to do it, I have no idea. He said, oh, well, you're a smart girl. You just got your master's. You'll be fine. So I went back, opened up my college catalog, found a program called Health Studies, and its curriculum promised the answer to how to help all these people with various things that would help improve their health. I started the program the next day. That's a whole story in and of itself. But that's how I got started on my doctoral program. So just be open. Life is, if you're young and if you happen to be tuned into listening to all of us, such great advice. And just know that your life is going to unfold before you in ways you had no idea that it was going to. But trust the process. Show up as your best self every day. I think that's one thing, is show up with curiosity, interest, and you may have some challenging experiences. Try to leave those, at the door when you go into your work as much as you can. And if you can't, set aside a little time to talk about what's challenging you, and that you want to contribute your very best. You have a distraction today, but just always show up. And this is my last piece of advice to myself that I think about every day. Whatever happens, assume good intent. It's more likely that people have good intentions with what they're doing than the opposite in most cases, especially in the professional world. So as the last speaker on the last question, I wish you the very, very best with your lives and look forward. I'd love to know if anybody has a success story. I think all of us on this call, Catherine, you talked about taking the calls. I bet all of us would, and we would love to hear your successes because they will.
Great. All right. Thank you, Deborah. That's a great ending there. I didn't see any questions in the Q&A. So if anybody would like to follow up, it sounds like, these wonderful influential women will be happy to, share some things with you. So I want to thank our honoree and everything. All the responses were great advice and great information. So we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to jump back into our second hour with our other honorees. Thank you. Welcome back to Influential Women of Northeast Indiana live chat today, sponsored by KCC Media and Fort Wayne Newspapers. My name is Lisa Escovel-Long, and I am serving as your moderator of this live chat today. For those of you just joining us, over the next hour, you'll have the opportunity to hear from 4 interesting and diverse women who have made an impact in their career field and in nonprofit organizations in our local region, many of whom have overcome difficult odds to do so. We believe their stories will inspire you. We also appreciate that. We also appreciate it if you wouldn't mind sharing this on your Facebook page right now to bring more women into the conversation. We're holding this event in October, which is Women in Business Month, celebrated nationally and celebrated here at KPC Media and Fort Wayne Newspapers. At the end of the hour, we'll take questions from the audience. As you watch, feel free to use the Q&A feature.
Auction industry, and college went into marketing and credit union marketing and so forth. For a while, I had a couple stores up here, but yeah, I've been back at the auction company now. Oh my gosh, maybe 15 years, something along those lines, and then definitely very involved in the community. So the Downtown Auburn Business Association, Auburn Main Street, Excelsior Youth Theater, and so on.
Right, all right, welcome. All right, and next we have Zoda Miller. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Zoe Miller. I'm at First Merchants Bank as the Vice President of Workplace Banking for Fort Wayne and Muncie. I've been in banking for 20 years. I started at Wells Fargo as a drive-up teller and I've held every position in the branch. I worked my way up to branch manager and been in management since 2008, and then started this new role of teaching financial literacy and helping with businesses with their benefit packages since May of this year.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. And next we have Amber Tinsley. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Amber. Oh, unmute.
Hi, my name is Amber Tinsley. I am the owner of A&J Optical Boutique, one of Fort Wayne's newest optical boutiques here in town. I've been in the optical field for the last 11 years now. I started out counter sales, moved my way up to management. February of 21, I decided I wanted to step out on my own and open up an optical store. September of 21, I opened the doors, and here I am today.
Wonderful. Great to have you with us today. Okay. And next up we have Jennifer Esterline. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Greetings. First, I am so excited to be here with everyone. We have some amazing women. I watched the first section, and yeah, this is fabulous. So I'm very privileged to be here. Jennifer Esterline. I'm the CEO of Whitley County Chamber of Commerce and the Visitor Center. I'm also co-owner of First Farmhouse Brewery in Indiana, and we have E-Brewing Company. Also, I'm CEO of Farm to Fork. I have commercial properties and really wonderful programs for adults with disabilities through Developmental Disability Services on the West Coast. And I have a national nonprofit called Farm to Fork, so I have the Farm to Fork movement. So I'm kind of broad, and I'm from agriculture to business, community relations, of course, business development, and everything here in Whitley County. So anyway, thank you for having me today.
Thank you. Thanks to all of you. Okay, we're going to go over our questions, and if you could limit them to maybe 2 minutes. We know there's like a lot of great information that the women can share, so I hate to do it. The hour seems to go by fast, but I'm going to put our first question. And that is, our core purpose of this event is to inspire women to progress in their to hear how other women have become influential in their businesses or their communities, and to expand our audience's network of potential mentors. Please take a minute or so to talk about how you were able to become successful, what your greatest triumphs have been, and what your professional journey has looked like so far. So let's start, Jema.
All right. So success, that's such a good subject, I guess. And I was really thinking about that question. And, you know, do you think I'm successful? I think I'm successful, but I don't think that's a really personal definition, right? And my hope is, as time goes on, that maybe that becomes an even more personal definition, right? Because I feel like success is supposed to have everything to do with money or where you are in the company and so forth. I own the company. So that's great. But I think I'm successful because I feel good about where I am and what I do. And yeah, the bills get paid. So that's a success. And then I think I make a difference. And I think those are the 3 questions for me. And so then the question along, how did I become successful? I mean, I'm surrounded by really good people. As for Little John Auctions, I own Little John Auctions, and that was a family business. So that's not a tough question. You know, I worked there, and the point that my dad reached a certain age, and my brother and I worked there, and it just made great sense. My husband and I bought the company, and I love what I do. We all love what we do, and it keeps us going, and Dad still works there. So that was a step along the way, but you know, honestly, one of the most important steps to me was realizing what felt successful. What felt successful? What do I do that's really important to me? And I go to work every day for sure, but those other things that I do that feel super successful. Being able to be involved in things, being able to have the time to be involved in things. And Tom and I definitely tag team raising the kids. And I would say he definitely has the higher percentage of our bills that he pays, right? But I'm so blessed to be able to be involved and participate when the kids were home, participate in our community. Yeah, I think, you know, that when I thought I was finally successful was when I realized what was really important to me.
Great. All right. Thanks, Shayma. Okay, next let's go to Zoe Miller of First Person Bank.
Hi. I would say I actively sought feedback to support my personal and professional growth. I maintained an open communication with my manager regarding my career goals and the things that I felt that were inspiring me. And then with manager, we would talk about my career goals and my path to achieve them. And I would view the feedback as progress. And one of my notable accomplishment has been establishing a strong network through community involvement, fostering valuable connections along the way.
Great, thank you. Okay, and next let's go to Amber Tinsley of A&J Optical.
My greatest success is completing phase 3, which is one of the newest things that I've completed. I had a 3-phase business plan. I stuck to it, kept at it. Now I'm more competitive with my competitors by having a full one-stop shop. You can get exams here, you can get you some fun and funky frames here, and now I can cut your lenses and have them back out to you single vision in about an hour. And to me, that is a huge stepping stone. So like it really put me in the game in the optical field.
Great, all right, thank you. Okay, and let's go to then Jennifer Esterline, Whitley County Chamber.
So this is for me, being CEO of the Chamber of Commerce was just a natural fit. I stepped in 18 months ago. Small business has always been a passion of mine. I started with a really strong family dynamic, very driven parents. They laid a really strong foundation of investing time in us as kids, and as we grew, to promote, I guess, strengthen ourselves and to actually go after whatever we wanted. And that it's okay to take what you want and to think of others and work with others. And so I was able to, you know, do things that many didn't do at a very young age. And for me, it was having the confidence and getting to know that, get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And so once I went off to college and agriculture education, I went 2,000 miles away to Montana State University. I was a teacher. I taught agriculture. I decided that, you know what, I also have a strong passion for food. I am a foodie at heart, and went to culinary school outside of St. Helena. And, you know, I always had my small businesses, but I always taught. And I found that God puts you in places where you never think you're going to be. And don't close those doors, be open to them. Next thing you know, my next chapter was that I had students that had siblings that had special needs. And that influenced my next chapter so much. And I needed answers. And so I started asking them really hard questions of what we needed in Northern California and our region at the time. And it was programs that were not work-based, but maybe agriculturally based. And we developed Farm to Fork. And I was already very active in the natural food movement and things like that. And next thing you know, I'm opening day programs for adults with disabilities that are ag-based. And every day, my children were raised in that. And it shows that, for one, there's diversity. Second, there's compassion. There's understanding that we all have different paths in life and that we're never short on giving love and attention to others. And so I was very detail oriented. And I was living, you know, my dream. I had a national nonprofit. We were going forward with all my programs. I had 2 wonderful girls that were very driven, going in very different paths. One was sports and nursing. The other one was all agriculture and showing rabbits, and riding horses. And did I ever think I was going to Indiana? No, that was never there. I was in another state, but in, you know, Indiana. And a rabbit show brought us to Iowa. I ended up meeting this really wonderful man that is very driven and wanted to do businesses and had passions himself. And that's how I got here, and he said rabbits. But so here I got here 5 years ago. It was one of those things where we wanted to open businesses. We wanted to do something. I didn't know if I was going to be taking stuff from the West Coast and bringing it here. The need for day programs wasn't quite the same as what I was facing in California. I was very happy having a little hobby farm and doing the food movement in Northeast Indiana. And then I took Jay on a trip to see Farmhouse Breeze. And next thing you know, we have a brewery getting you know, established. And I needed a way to get into small business, and an opportunity came with the Chamber of Commerce. I'm very passionate about small and large business. I think especially for women, we face a lot of challenges, which we can probably talk about later, but it's okay to be bold and have that, yes, we'll do it, and then have the natural, like Midwest, we need to be a little more passive. It's okay, maybe you're being a little too gung-ho. And we have to be transparent and enjoy what we have to offer. And coming into the chamber, I had small business background, I had, economic development and commercial properties and, things that we could bring a community together. And we have the most incredible people here. And, it's one of those things where the chamber was just an extension of what we can do to bring our community stronger. And it's great. I mean, I can tell you, there's so many that mentioned before, and I think it's success. It's one of those things where I don't say it's based on what I've done or where I've been or who I know. It's based on the joy that I feel every day that I can wake up knowing at least maybe had some kind of benefit in somebody's life, or that we've added something to someone. And to me, success is watching my kids grow and they're happy and they've chosen their own path. Women around me that appreciate friendship and that we work together and support each other and build each other up, because so much it's tough. It really is. And, for us, we all have a different definition of success. And for me, if I just wake up happy the next day, I know that I'm hopefully making somebody else have joy in their life. It's a win-win for me.
Great, thanks, Jennifer. Okay, our second question is, most women in business or who are in leadership roles have run into roadblocks, whether that be struggling with a work-life balance, feeling like people don't believe in you, or finding out you don't believe in yourself. Or it could be something completely different. So would you share with us some of the trials you have faced and how you got past them? And let's start with Jema.
Yeah, so there's all that usual stuff, right? Like we don't feel I know as much as I should know, but everybody goes through that, I think. So I have a pretty specific answer to that. I am in the auction business, and that is or was, when I began, very, very predominantly men. Okay. Including my family, and I would go to continuing ed, and I would go to the conferences and so forth. And it was really important to us, and lifelong learning, all of that is so important. And just surrounded by men. Okay. And not just men, but men that maybe would introduce me as that little girl over there, or, whatever words we all grew up hearing and knowing. And I did pretty well, and I was asked to, teach quite a bit. And so I would go around the state and sometimes out of the state to teach classes on maybe online auctions and how we do that, or the type of marketing that we do, which is fairly unique, or at Little John Auctions. And so I also run the marketing department, or maybe go teach about benefit auctions. And then I would see the comment cards for the different classes that were also being taught that day. And maybe a couple men teaching and me, and great ideas. And these are all people I know, and their comments, such a good idea, all of those things. And then my comment card might be, you act like you know more than you probably do, or there's other ways to do it, I'm just telling you how we're doing it the same way these other people are. But also, we all grew up that way, right? And so you just kind of plug through. So how do you get through it? We just plug through. Now I'm surrounded by really great people and really great female friends and good male friends. And I think I have a pretty good sense of humor. So in my life and how we do this, and I don't mind saying I'm 53. So this is, these are some years back. Come through with a good sense of humor and joke about it and say the things that I need to say, and use my big girl words, maybe when the jokes that are being told really aren't funny, or if the joke is just putting women down, which we all grew up with, just to, maybe not laugh at it or just say something like that. And all that isn't to be antagonistic or anything today. But what I love right now, we're at a time where my daughters aren't quite dealing with that as much. We have better words, and we just can say better things about that. And there's more people around us who are also saying, well, that isn't funny, and my dad, I work with him every day, and he'll mention something about, that little girl over there. And I said, is she a little girl? And he's going, Jamie, she's not a little girl. And it's in good fun. And I love my dad. And I'm just so glad he's still with us at the office every day and so forth. And it is in good fun, except I get to say the thing that's into fun now. And I mean it, and he knows I mean it, but we have so much better words now. And I think I'm just so thankful for me that my parents raised me to be able to do anything. I mean, I was one of those only girls playing baseball in town. I just didn't know that women weren't supposed to do stuff. So thankful for that. And then extra thankful that I think that my girls, they're not girls, they're young women, they have a different space, and we all have better words. And I just love that. You know, there's all kind of challenges, but being an auctioneer and having an auction company, I thought that's what I wanted to bring to the table. And I am thankful for where we are and where we're going on those subjects. We can just do so much more when we are excited to have all the voices, all the people there to contribute ideas in the workplace and outside of the workplace.
Great. All right. Great. Great that times have changed. Okay. And next we have Zoda Miller.
Hi, when I was reading this, a few things came to mind. I think like 3 of them stick out the most with me. One, working in banking and being a manager, I've had people ask to speak to the manager before, and I came out and then greeted them, and they said, I want to speak to the male manager. And I'm like, well, I'm the manager. So, and I've been told one time, I was a woman, I didn't know anything. And I try to be thoughtful of the time and just to let that go. So I've had those experiences, but it's just been a few, but there's a few that stuck out in my mind. But I would say one of the biggest roadblocks I thought I had was 6 years into my career. In 2009, when I was 30, I found out that I had a very aggressive cancer. And so I'm very driven. I have a lot of energy. I don't like to sit still very often. And so I was really upset about what that was going to do to my career. What was that going to look like? And so over about a 2-year period with the treatments and the surgeries, I was off work about 26 weeks. My employer held my job for me that entire time. I was on intermittent FMLA, so I did work in between times, but they did take me off for a big chunk of 12 weeks. But when I returned, it actually helped my career because they seen that I was still resilient. I was still coming to work with a positive attitude. I stayed in touch with my team. I made sure everything was prepared before I left, so it was easy transition. It wasn't like I was there. I empowered my team, so everything ran the same. And so I was really worried about what that was going to do to my career, but it really helped me in the long run, where they see and they're like, okay, like she can be resilient. She can bounce back from this. And I think that also having that at that age, when I would go in and see a tech, they'd ask me how old I was. And I wonder how many lives that were saved by me having that at a young age, but being able to see this does happen to people at a younger age. And then I took Strength Finders, I don't know, around 2018. I found out I had a really strong belief system in that, belief, achiever, responsibility. There was 2 more. And I was actually looked over for a promotion because they felt I was too ethical. And it kind of came out about 6 months later that the gentleman that made that decision no longer with the company. So sometimes, as Jamma mentioned, those things work out on their own. And it's come to find out he was doing something unethical that he was worried that I was going to find out about, but somebody else found out about it. So, and maybe I would have never found out about it, but it was a hard blow to not get that promotion, but it all worked out. Like Jennifer said, God puts us in places for a reason. And at the time, though I was upset, it actually did bring me to tears that time, because I had worked at that location for 9 years and I was the next seat, and it didn't work out, but it did work out eventually within, a few months. So it worked out. So those were my obstacles, but I think they just made me stronger in the long run. I look back at it now and I'm like, wow, I made it through there. Like I got goosebumps thinking about it now. So just knowing it just made me a stronger woman than I am today and made me more resilient.
That's wonderful story about, really, it was wonderful that your employer really supported you and also that you had that determination to keep going. So wonderful. All right. Next, let's talk to Amber Tinsley.
Okay, so I have a couple things that stand out when it comes to trials with me starting the business. Financial resources was one of my biggest trials. So I tried to get small business loans. I was told I didn't have the collateral to do that. So I still wanted the business. I still had this vision. I still need to get it done. So I decided to, I just go down and not put that 2 weeks notice in, because this is what I was doing. So I used the stimulus checks that we got from the government. I used my tax refund check again from the government, and then also had my savings that I had been saving for years. And I just put it all into the business. Like I literally just was like, okay, here it is. Here's everything I have. Which business was getting the space. First day I looked at, I just thought this is where I need to be, because the research I was doing in the optical field, everybody's over there at the top of Coliseum. Everybody. So I felt like that's where I need to be, because that's where everybody was. But the space I wanted, the guy told me, he said, with everything, you don't have enough money in your bank account, so we're not going to give you this space. So a couple days later, I'm riding down the street, and on Clinton Street, I had a floor in the window. It was just on my name. I drove over, and sure enough, the space I'm in today was for rent, cheaper, able to obviously keep functioning every day because the overhead is reasonable. But it just took that. Like I felt like I was getting no. And the one with the space was a blessing, because I said the overhead is a 4, and then they told me that. So those 2 trials were definitely trials that I had. And then earlier this year, even though a little further after I opened, but I was the grant fund, I mentioned, and that's actually how I was able to complete the 3rd phase and make me more competitive with guys. Yeah.
Sorry, I was saying that I knew someone who was successful, and she just said, the only difference with me is that I just had more no's in my life. So, everybody's had those no's, you just gotta keep going. So, great. Okay, Tamara,
Trials and tribulations do happen in business, in personal lives. I think for me, coming here 5 years ago was one of the hardest things I've done. It was a leap of faith, and what I felt was needed for me personally, for my daughter. I have an older daughter that was already in her career, living her life. But for me, coming here, it is a completely different cultural diversity. And I figured, oh, farmland, I come from a huge, ag-based agriculture family, cattle ranch. We cut, nothing like what I would come to a farming community, small business, small community. I lived in very rural Northern California, and I was not easily accepted. I was still not from here. I was not born here. I didn't go to school here. Meet at a coffee shop, and they're like, oh, everyone talks, everybody went to school together, everyone went to, high school, and I was still just somebody else. And I was hoping when I came into the Chamber of Commerce, I would bring, for when I was in Switzerland, I didn't have any kind of connection with anyone. I couldn't play favorites. I didn't have the girlfriend I went to high school with that owned a store down the street that I would give extra attention to. Everybody was equal to me. And I also believe that we don't have to dumb ourselves down. It's okay to come in bold. It's okay to give each other confidence. Men do it every day. And if you see a gentleman that's running a business and it's successful in its own right, but if a woman acts like that or is able to talk about her business, or run a CEO position, oh, they're a little too much, or whatever you want to brand us with. And that's just false. It's we can care and love for each other and push each other. There's many days my businesses come to me, men and women, that are having just bad days. Because you know what? I'm a business owner. We have them. There's great days. There's days that like, hey, I just need an outside opinion. But for me, the biggest trial was just fitting in. And you know what? Honestly, I don't fit in, and I'm okay with that. And that's another thing for each and every one of us, is that you don't have to make everybody okay. It was said earlier in the first group to be kind, and I believe in that. Find joy, find happiness, pass that love down, and truly care about each other, and not try to knock each other down for whatever reason to grow. Stronger the better in numbers, for one. Second, I always say, and this was a harder one for people to accept, but always put yourself with people that are doing it better and learn from them. And, here, that's not always the most common response. It's kind of like, oh, it's always been like this. This is just what we do. No. If you're going to do something, do it bold, do it big, find it, and then add that to somebody else's life. And not fitting in, being okay not fitting in is been the hardest part for me. And you know what? It's come back tenfold. And now I have long-lasting friendships here in business that, from the mayor to just a startup business to the high school kids I work with every day, that it's okay to just be transparent, be yourself, and try to make somebody always have a better day. And even if it's just like, oh, I love what you're wearing, or, oh my gosh, what you did the other day on Facebook or something, kudos. Because just that little comment might be just what they need that day. And I did not find that when I first got here, because I wasn't from here. And I think if I can just do that to make up for what I learned, I hope I can do something for somebody else that I didn't receive when I first got here.
Okay, all right, those are some great comments. Okay, our last question. What advice do you have for the young women watching today who might be interested in pursuing a career in your field? Is there a piece of wisdom you wish you had when you first started on your path? So, Jema Smith.
Okay, so in my field, so I mean, I'm an auctioneer and a marketer, but I think that anyone in my family would agree I'm a professional volunteer. So I'm thinking with all those hats, right? If I'm at continuing ed or any kind of webinar, seminar, even just watching a TED Talk, it's like I've got 4 notebooks in front of me, right? So business, Main Street, DABA, youth theater. So I'm always thinking of all of those. And that's, I think, how I'm going to answer that. And I think that makes good sense to me. I just truly believe the notion of being a lifelong learner, always wanting to learn, always wanting to be better for sure, see things in a different way. And then right along with that, I just think it's so important to be willing to learn enough that you do see things a different way. And we all can think of that in terms of business and learning to be better and surrounding ourselves with people who can teach us to do things better. But there comes a point that you've been out here 20, 30 years and just whatever it is that we're working on, if I'm learning, if I'm continuing to learn and read and pay attention, I really want people behind me to be okay with learning and changing your mind. Maybe you will see things a different way and want to handle it a different way, or just have a completely different opinion on it at some point. When you've been around long enough, things do change. And one thing that you saw this way, you might see it a different way. I just think that's super important and follows right along with being a lifelong learner, and being that lifelong learner, I think, makes us so flexible and so ready to accept challenges with whatever we're working on. Embarrassing quick story. We were opening my son's 25 years old, and we did time capsules back then for all 3 of the kids. And he opened his and he was reading along, and it doesn't matter what the subject was, but he read along, and I had written it, of course, in my robe with my baby beside me. I was like writing my stuff down. And I had said something like, what you know about me by now is I feel very strongly about this. And I feel differently about that by now. And the kids that are in the room, the two, both just looked at me and I'm like, yeah, I see it differently now. I see that thing differently now, for better, for worse. That's a joy. And that's something we can do as humans, lifelong learning and openness to change our thinking.
Great. All right. Those are some good things. Thanks for that advice. Okay. And next, let's go to Zoda Miller.
I would say for any young women today that would like to join banking, please come on in, join. The water is warm, come on in. Over the 20 years, I've seen a progression of diversity around banking. My manager, who she's a regional sales manager, she is over Fort Wayne and all of Michigan. Woman, we have a consumer banking over every consumer thing in banking, all branches, everything consumer is ran by a woman. So every month we have diversity calls where everyone's welcome to get on the call, and people can even make little avatars, and they can have blue hair, and it's everything. Everyone, as Gemma mentioned, words are different. Everyone's welcome to everywhere, and I've really seen a shift over I would say over at least the past 10 years of banking, where it was 10 years ago versus it is now. And I would say that everybody, no matter gender, is welcome in banking, and that is not that's not what the decision is for your role. It's what are your accomplishments? What value do you bring? Do you believe in the mission? Do you want to help people prosper? Do you want to help people succeed financially? And if you do, and you like to volunteer, then banking is for you, and you're all welcome. And I'd love to have you as a mentee.
All right, great, thank you. Okay, and next let's go to Amber Tinsley.
All right, guys. So my advice to young ladies who want to go into the optical field, maybe start your own optical, I would say definitely start in the field and learn everything you can, from being an optician, from being a doctor's tech, and even learning things in the lab. So when you're in your own place, you can train people how you want them trained, with the knowledge that you've gained over the years. And also putting a twist on things, like doing your research, knowing what's out there, knowing who your competitors are, what days they have doctors, so you can have days that when they don't have them, you have one in your shop. Just being in the know would be my advice. Being in the know and knowing how to run the store from top to bottom runs pretty smooth. And another piece of advice is, you're told no, just keep going. If you have that vision, if it's for you, it's for you. Keep going. If they say, all you need is one yes. I was told that. I got that one yes. It turned around. Definitely just keep going until you get that one yes, because that's all it takes. And as far as one piece of wisdom that I wish I would have had was, I guess it's like a two thing, being patient. I wish somebody would have just been like, you can't eat it one piece at a time. Using my biggest mic that I would really understand being patient. And then can't do everything myself. You can't. And I tried. I still try, but I'm more willing to get, hey, I'll call in the lab. Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about that? Just get help. It's okay. It'll still be successful.
Great. So whether you start the elephant tail or the trunk, time's up. Okay, thanks, Amber. Okay, and Jennifer Esterline.
Oh, diversity. It's okay to have many passions, follow, and like I said, it's tough in the stress of owning your own business and finding somebody that can support you. Have fun, it's okay. We give our time to others. That's what makes us good women. So we can be like, it's just being transparent and honest with each other. And that I can tell somebody that's been going to the restaurant business, like, have you got this out? Because I've been there, and it's tough. Or if you're going to run Whitley County's commerce, you're going to be hearing things, good and bad stories every single day, grabbing the bullhorns and what they want to do. And I love that. So I thank you so much for having me in this group. Everyone's very, so everybody loves it for it. I tell every business that story and they want to listen. I love hearing everybody's story, and I find that fascinating. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Jennifer. Because those are questions I did see. A couple of people just saying thank you. You've really inspired me, and all women really sitting in today have really some great stories. So thank you so much for all of our influential women for sharing with their wisdom today. If you would like to watch this video again, check out kbceventbuzz.com next week. You can also read about all the influential women in our upcoming special section that's going to be in all the KBC papers, in Business Weekly, in the Journal Gazette. Those who were present and those who weren't, that's going to be coming in. That will be in the paper tomorrow and Saturday. So once again, thank you